Okay, Christina here to listen to some music, and today's music selection is Rooster by Alice in Chains. This is the second Alice in Chains reaction on the channel. The first one was to Wood. That one was the first place winner for Alice in Chains songs that everyone on Patreon and channel members voted for. Rooster came in second. So here we are, and I am really excited to be continuing on with my listening to Alice in Chains. This was a group that I knew about back in the day, but I never gave them a chance. And again, that's on me. But you may have heard in my previous reaction with Wood that I'm definitely regretting my stance on this band. So, we're all learning something new. That's what I'm learning, more about this band, appreciating this band. What can you learn? I am a professional classically trained musician, instrumentalist, vocalist, composer, and professor. So we dig into all of the little different aspects of this music, how it's composed, the different instruments that are used within it, and how do we relate to it? Why do we like this music? Or maybe why do we not like it? So let's not delay any longer. Let's listen. All right, here we go. Okay, just this intro. That was a solid minute of establishing the bass. It was super repetitive, but it really wanted you to listen for more, you know? Like it was calling to you. It wasn't too much. I did want more. And then when the oohs came in over the top, well, first of all, I love choral music, so any choral oohings happening there, I'm going to be excited about. But the ranges there are pretty different. So we've got that low established bass and then the really high oohs. So I'm assuming those are men's falsetto voices up there. Maybe more than one? I already know the lead vocalist. I do love his voice. It's such a unique voice with such control, that really memorable vibrato, and so I'm sort of hearing that here. But it doubled. So are there two people in the band that can do this, or is this just doubled? Either way, it's fine. I think the other thing that's standing out to me right now is the warbliness and the distance in this. There's something a little sinister with this one, maybe. It could just be sort of like hide and seek, sort of playful. I'm not sure yet. But they're playing with us, with the keys, like the establishment of the bass sound, and then where the voices came in at the top, and then where the main vocals came in for the main verse that's happening there. The tones in which they come in, as in the tonal scale, is surprising. Like, it's not all like, here is the key we're in, so here's tonic, and so that's where we're going to enter in. It's a little unexpected, and that happened at the beginning of Wood as well. I still say that there was a modulation at the beginning of Wood. There was some debate there, but I still think that it was in one key, and then it shifted into the actual key that the rest of the song was in once the vocals came in. But to each their own. This one, however, is still keeping you on your feet. All right, I'm going to back it up and hear again where the verse started. Cool sound so far. This is great. Whoa, okay. Yet new adventurous turns happening here. Wow, okay. Well, that definitely happened in the previous one with wood as well. They don't play with norms here, folks. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Oh, it's so exciting. My compositional ear is just eating this up. Okay. The guitar sound. That's the sinister part of this. Like, it might still be pulling jokes, but it's like the really rough practical jokes where it ends up like somebody is in pain somehow, and you might kind of laugh about it, but somebody gets hurt. It was that sound, the grumbly electronic buzzy sound. It was just a really sinister sounding character to me, and sort of playing like a supportive role to the main lead vocals. So there is a little bit, to me, a little hint of humor, like a dark humor in this. The way the lead vocalist was delivering his lines, especially the R sound, there was something sort of tongue-in-cheek about that. I'm not catching all the words yet. We'll get there. I'll look at them, and the meaning of it will shine through here. But the sound of it, I am picking up so much just from the sound. Not just the soundscape, but the individual sounds that are peeking through. Okay, then we have the harmonies. I started to get chills from the main harmony that came in, and I love a good tight harmony where it's like in thirds, and more predictable, but I also really love a really spread out disjunct kind of harmony where it's almost like you're listening to the soprano line and the baritone 1 line, or the tenor 2 line of like 8 parts. You've got like the first soprano and then tenor 2. Like those 2 lines, they're that far apart. I love that. And that's what we got there. Really, I was getting goosebumps from it. And then something just interrupted everything. Honestly, I wasn't expecting it. Everything was so calm and laid back. Although the sinister part of it, like waiting for the joke, when is the joke going to happen? Is someone going to jump out and scare us? I was kind of uneasy with that. Like, I don't completely trust the calmness, and I guess I was right, because boom, there it was. All right, we're going to back it up and have the person jump out at us again. Okay. And they come to snuff the rooster. Yeah, here come the rooster. Yeah, you know we ain't gonna die. Okay. Woo. Okay. I think I said this with the other reaction to wood, but I really like this. The sounds, again, it's not just the soundscape, it's the sounds of the voices, as in the instrumental voices. I love that guitar sound. And at the beginning, it was sort of the precursor there. I heard, that was the sinister guitar sound. And when it came back, that that right there, oh my gosh. It was so powerful. It sounded like a brass section. It sounded like trombones, like 2 trombones, a bass trombone, and a tuba, all playing in unison. That lower brass section in a symphony orchestra. And as a symphonic composer, when you dip into that section and use it in your writing, it can mean a lot. It can be so substantial. And what was so cool about it is that it was kind of like a bass section, which would normally be supportive of the lead vocals or a lead guitar, but it became the lead voice. And then it even played with the harmonies that the vocals had been doing. Oh, that was really cool. Okay, and then the drum, dum, bum, bum, bum. That was a really fantastic addition in there. Okay, and then the screaming within the singing for the lead vocals there. It almost made my throat hurt listening. I think I heard the word scream, and there was the scream with it. Really, really cool inflections there. I think I am catching more of the lyrics, saying like that you can't kill the rooster, that he always comes back, and I'm not sure what they're implementing that into, but I can sort of, like on Farm Life, there can be a pesky rooster that you can't seem to catch or get under control, and they can cause all sorts of problems, including waking people up in the morning, too early in the morning, or I don't know. I just heard that roosters can be kind of bothersome. So what this is alluding to, I'm not sure, but I don't think I want to check all the lyrics out. So if I would have gotten this tape or CD back in the day, I probably just dated myself there. Nice fresh cassette. The smell of the cassettes, right? We all know that. Take the jacket out. I wouldn't have done that yet. I would have listened first and then taken the jacket out and gone through all the lyrics. My mind always wants to hear the actual music first and then soak up the words. So that is what I'm doing right now. But I do promise that we do get to the words. I'm just going to keep going in my experience this way. So just with the music. All right. Where are we headed next? It sounds like another recap. Oh, I also heard lots of repetition. That bass line happened over and over, like one time too many. I love how they create that angst. They hold you there, captive, listening a little bit longer. All right. But it's good music, so we don't mind. But, yeah. Funny little game there. All right. We're headed into this next verse. Let's hear this verse and hopefully then how it takes us out for the end of the song. I'm so excited because the end of the song for Wood was really creative. What in the world are they going to do with this one?
Tall machine gun man, they spit on me in my homeland. Gloria sent me pictures of my boy. Got my pills against mosquito death. My
Okay, that was interesting. Well, the things that were brought back at the end were more predictable, but they needed to be there. Nothing wrong with being predictable. It needed to be balanced. I was really happy to hear the harmonies from the opening, the ooh-ooh-oohs. Really happy to hear those again. It was interesting, though, because there was a little voice up there with another guitar, kind of doo-doo-doo-doo, almost imitating the voices. And I noticed that as well in the other reaction to Wood, that the guitars seem to imitate the lead vocalist. And I think that that shows how well a band communicates and how they work together and build their sound together. So the ending, though, we sort of went back to the calmness from the beginning. And again, that's sort of needed for the balance of this piece. But then it still ended almost on a question mark. Even though there's no question mark here, it kind of ended upended. It didn't ever go back to tonic, which, like, for instance, if it was the key of C, that would be C. It ended, was it on the third? Yeah, it ended on the third. So that'd be the third note in the scale. So if it was C major, that would be C, D, E. Or if it was minor, it'd be E flat. But the point is, and that I'm not saying that that's the key that this is in. I'm just saying that it didn't end in a traditional manner. And it still ended, but it was a little uncomfortable. But I think that's kind of the point of this band, is to present discomfort and angst, but sort of on an intellectual level, not necessarily musically uncomfortable. It's more that the music represents discomfort. However, there was one interesting thing. Let's see if we can go back and find this. It especially happened again and again here towards the end, where there was a chord that happened that was out of the key. It almost flipped it over from a minor to a major key. It's hard to describe, but let's see if we can go back and find one spot. There's also this cool thing I noticed where it was like, bum, 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 bum. It was really neat. I want to hear that too. I think it's back here. There's the cool drums. That. Okay, and there's a note in there that's not in the key. So it's like, here it is, da-dum, bum, but it's almost bum, bum. It really wants to pull in that direction, but I love the gesture, bum, bum, bah, like that. Really, really cool. Okay, I'm hoping that doesn't represent something important. We're gonna go to the lyrics. It's time. Ain't found a way to kill me yet. Eyes burn with stinging sweat. Okay, makes my eyes burn. Seems every path leads me to nowhere. Wife and kids, household pet, army green was no safe bet. Oh, the bullets screamed to me from somewhere. Oh, okay. That's military, maybe PTSD. Here they come to snuff the rooster. You know he ain't gonna die. So that's what I was hearing, something about the rooster. Walking tall, machine gun man. They spit on me in my homeland. Wow, so this is veteran issues. Gloria sent me pictures of my boy. Got pills against mosquito death. Okay, like malaria. So is this Vietnam vets? My buddies breathing his dying breath. Oh God, please, won't you help me make it through? All right, I'm not sure what the rooster is supposed to represent, but I am definitely catching on to a person that has experienced military trauma. So I'm not sure if the rooster is representing the conflict in military conflict, or if it's some kind of term for a certain person. I'm not sure. But it definitely has to do with persecution of some kind. Is it that they try to take you out, but you're not going to let them? Is it sort of a survival anthem? Or is this another ode to someone close to them, one of the band members or all of them, who's going through some issues because of these experiences? I learned afterwards, after I did the reaction to Wood, that it was a tribute to someone that they had lost. And so maybe this is another type of battle that they are addressing, that either one of them or people that they know have gone through. So the lyrics here with this one are, well, some of it's very straightforward, and then other parts of it is more elusive. But it's not quite as poetic as the lyrics were for Wood. Again, I'm sorry that I keep comparing it back to that song. But that's like the only exposure that I have of this group so far, so I can't help but compare the two. I just remember it was very poetic, and this is not quite as much, but it's still lovely. It's well written. And what I especially like is how how the lead singer delivers these words. So I believe the word, let me see. Did I hear the word scream? Yeah. Scream, the bullets scream. Okay. And just the way he says rooster and, the word die, it's very musically translative. So yeah, some of these words will mean more now. Let's see if I can go back and find some of those words and the inflections, that translation from the music into the meaning of the words and how it gets meshed together. Let's find a few of those really cool spots that he did.
Yeah, here come the rooster. Yeah.
Just that, just that. Die. Okay, that seemed a little bit like Metallica there. No. Oh, but listen to that. Die. Like, still hanging on to it. Okay. The guitar is talking. It's singing. This is that sound, y'all. It says so much. And so we hear the bass line underneath it, but this guitar is just like, and now it's doubled and we have a little bit of harmony. It's so simple. It's a simple line, but it's so heavy. Okay, so I didn't even get to very many of his words. But that's because the guitar took over and took all the words. I think that's one reason why that spot was so impressive to me, is that the amount that the instrument was speaking was just immense. And I love that. I love when an instrument, a non-vocal instrument, can speak so well. That's what really draws us into those moments. Okay. So yeah, the guitars are imitating the lead vocals and the lead vocals are imitating the guitars. So he's taking like, yeah, wow, wow, wow. He's doing the same thing and hanging on to the word, yeah. Like you still hear him down there, like he's one of the guitars hanging on down there. Okay, so now I want to look at some of the yummy harmonies here. Let's go back to the rooster part.
Yeah, they come to snuff the rooster.
Yeah, so bum 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 bum. Those two notes are right there together. Ba da 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 dum bum. That right there. I love that. Let's hear it again.
Yeah, they come to snuff the rooster.
I love that sound he uses for the words.
Yeah, here come the rooster.
Oh, yeah. Even better. Yeah, here comes the rooster. Like, it's different each time. I love it. Yeah! Woo! You see that? Yeah. Oh, yeah, like he's going to say that one word, but he's not done yet. He's going to turn in one of the instruments. Yeah. And ouch. Like, how does he do that? What is it? Make those sounds. Ouch. Take care of your voice, please. The vibrato there. The vibrato, bum, bum, bum. That vibrato there in the guitars also imitates the lead vocalist's, his unique vibrato there. Whew. Okay, so this is just really creative stuff, and I kind of love it. Okay, that was Rooster by Alice in Chains. And once again, I'm really impressed by this group and still kind of bewildered at the fact that I didn't give them a chance back in the day. But we are righting that wrong now. So yeah, 2 for 2. Both really good songs. And both from the same album. It's a really good album, perhaps. Maybe a consideration for a future full album experience on the channel and over on Patreon. Even though I've done a couple of the tracks, I basically would just go in and fill in all the rest and just sort of get the full album experience. But I sort of do it one song at a time, but I do it in quick succession. So I'll see if this is a good option for that. But for now, the 2 songs I've heard are pretty fantastic. This one was, again, really creative and well balanced, yet still really unique and unpredictable. A lot of that angst in there, and it wouldn't be the same without it. It needs to be there. The subject matter, I think I've caught on to it, and I hope that I am giving it enough tribute. If you know more about this song and why it was written, go ahead and put it in the comments. I will also do a little bit more research, and I just want to be able to appreciate it fully for what it stands for. But musically, it really settled in that lower octave that can really conjure up a lot of emotion. That lower brass sound. And they didn't just settle there. They established everything there. Which is really interesting then in how the opening and the ending had that little ooh, way up high. I love that little bit of color thrown in there. I just feel that these songs were not necessarily just thrown together. I really feel like there was a lot of planning behind it, and that there was perhaps more than one person that has a really good sense of musical balance and that creativity. Or if it is just one person, they all work really well together to sort of amplify it. hand off the characters to all the different instruments. All right, so will this go on my playlist? Absolutely. I'm already looking forward to listening to this one again. So thank you for coming along with me on this little listening adventure. It definitely did not disappoint. And don't forget to do all the things like and subscribe, become a patron over on Patreon or a channel member. You can support the channel on Ko-fi or through Throne. And you can take part in the polls that help decide these songs, because this is the fun we end up having with them. All right, and as always, just remember that you don't have to be perfect, just be okay, and keep listening.